Let's look at how to create brushes in Affinity Photo 3. Not only will we create brushes, we will use these brushes to transform a boring image into something that's got a lot more interest and life in it. Watch on and learn how to do it with your own images. Making a brush is actually quite simple. It's how you use it. It's when you start to introduce your own artistic flair into photo editing. Here we have a flock of birds. I would like to create a brush from some of these. Biggest problem is selecting which ones to use. I quite like this line of 3 birds flying at a diagonal. 3 being an odd number is always more interesting than an even number. Let's look at the brush panel in the panel section on the right hand side. You will see that Affinity comes with quite a few preloaded brushes. If we're going to create our own, then we want to create a new category so we can easily find that in the future. Select Create New Category from the drop-down list and give it a name. I'm calling this Creations. So now any brush I create will go straight into this section as long as I keep it selected. If you can't find your brushes panel, go to the Windows in the top menu bar, go to General, and make sure the brushes section is clicked. It will then appear in your panels on the right hand side. So to create a brush, I'm going to select the objects that I want, and I'm going to use the object selection tool. It takes a few seconds for Affinity to analyze the image. But now if we hover over the image that we want to select, this bird is now selected. Do the same for the second bird, and the same for the third. We now have 3 birds in a row ready for brush creation. We go onto the pointer, we can see that these are clearly marked as being selected on the image. We will go back to our brushes panel, to the drop down list, go down the list and select New Brush from Selection. You'll now see under Creations, our new brush has been created immediately. If we double click on that, we can now edit it. We can give it a name. I'm going to just call this 3 birds, very original. And we can also adjust the spacing of the birds. This is because if we click once with a brush, we get a single action. But if we drag the brush, we get multiple birds. So we don't want these birds overlapping if we decide to use the multiple action. Experience will tell you what's best to use. If we now close that, we've now got a brush under creation called 3 birds. Now we will look at how to use this brush in an image. We will go to the image we wish to edit. It's a record shot of an old mine working in Dartmoor, but the sky is very, very bland and there's very little other interest to this image. We make sure we're clicked on the layer. We go to the paintbrush tool, and because we have selected the 3 birds under creations brushes, we can now just quite literally just paint those birds on by clicking on the mouse. We can repeat this process as often as we like. There is a drawback to painting directly onto the image layer. It limits our ability to edit parts of the image as we go on. It is much better usually to create a new pixel layer on top of the original image, and we paint directly onto the pixel layer. By having two separate layers, we now have the ability to edit separate parts of the image at any time and only affect one layer at a time. We can also change the size of the birds by changing the size of the brush. If we click on the brush and edit brush, there's a size slider. We can select whatever size we want. We now have much smaller birds which look like they're flying much farther away. Another option is to use the square brackets, and by clicking on the left bracket we make the brush smaller. By clicking on the right square bracket we make the brush larger. Very quick and very simple. We don't really want too many birds, so let's go back a couple of steps and just have one set of birds. What if we want the brush just to give us a silhouette? Let's go back to our image that we selected the birds from, and we'll now do some editing to this selection. Because the birds are still selected, any changes we make only affect these three birds. So by adjusting the brightness and contrast, we make them much darker, but we still want them to be a silhouette. So let's also adjust the exposure. If we take the exposure way to the left, you can see we now have three blackbirds, like three birds in silhouette. If we go to the brushes panel, make a new brush from selection. And now we'll edit this brush as we did before. We can adjust the size, we can adjust the spacing, and of course we can give it a new name so we don't mix it up with our other one. This time I'll call it Three Birds Sil, short for silhouette. Now that we've got our silhouette brush, let's go back to our image for editing. And as before, we just click it on where we want. And of course, as before, we can adjust the size and position. Right, we've removed that because we're now going to work on the sky. We just leave the three original birds, which are in their own layer. We need to remove the sky if we're going to replace it. Before that, we're going to give the brush layer a name. As we add more layers, we want to be able to quickly distinguish them by looking in the layer panel. So I've called that layer Birds. To remove the sky, I'm going to look at the Object Selection tool. Give it a few seconds to select the various components. And then just quite simply hover over the sky. And it does quite an efficient job of selecting this. We have a little bit of sky poking through the old building. So let's go to the selection brush. Using a very small brush, we will also select that little bit of sky as well. We'll make sure we're adding rather than subtracting. And we'll click on that to select that bit of sky as well. We quite simply hit delete on our keyboard, or we could go to the edit in the top bar and do the same. Now that we've removed the sky, we're deselecting, so we've got no more marching ants. If we're going to add a sky as a brush, we need to create a new layer. And we'll call this layer Sky. I have an image that I prepared earlier, which is of a moody sky. I'm going to select the whole image this time rather than part of the image. So we go to Brush Panel, New Brush from Selection. Let's look at that brush in more detail. If we work on the spacing, we'll see it's created a square brush this time. And we will rename this one Sky. It's now ready to use. Let's go back to our editing image. We've got our new layer. Our new layer is above the background, so if we introduce a large sky, it will take away all of the image. So let's pull that down below the background, and by doing that, it will only show on the parts of the image that have been deleted. That is the sky. Our brush is still on birds, so let's go to our brush panel, select sky. You can see the sky is now being introduced behind the building. It's behind because we pulled that layer down below the background. We can move it around to get the best effect. We can even resize it if we wish. When we're happy, press click. Make sure that we don't click a second time, otherwise we'll get a second bit of sky overlaying it. So we'll go to just the ordinary selection pointer. So we now have 3 birds in flight, we have a new sky, and we have a much more interesting photo. Now we will get even more adventurous and add a tree. So I have this image of a tree. As before, we will try and isolate the bit we want, which is just the tree. We'll go to Object Selection Tool, and when it's ready, we will hover over the parts of the image. We'll try to remove the tree by itself. However, if you look closely, this is also selecting the sky between the branches. It is not isolating a tree. If we select the sky, it is still leaving the sky between the branches. Let's this time use the Flood Selection tool. In the top toolbar, make sure that the contiguous box is switched off. Otherwise, it won't go between the branches. We've clicked on the sky, and it's done a very good job of selecting the sky, which we've now deleted. We will also delete the other parts of the image that we don't want as well. If you go to Selection Brush, and we'll quite literally paint over the parts of the image that we don't want. Because we have ticked the Snap to Edges selection, it's doing a good job of going to the edges of the tree. Make sure we've got the Add box ticked, and we can gradually build up this selection. We could spend a lot of time on this, getting it very exact, but at the moment we will just have something that looks right without having to look at every little detail. So, as before, we'll go to the Brushes panel, New Brush from Selection. We will go to the image, and look to paint this tree on the image. We'll create a new pixel layer. We will call it tree. If we select the brush that we want, we will edit it for spacing and also find out that we've got nothing there. We've made a very simple error in our creation of the brush. As you can see, it's totally blank. Let's go back. We've cleared that new pixel layer, going back to the tree that we want to create a brush. The mistake that we've made is that this selection actually selected all the areas outside of the tree. To correct that, we invert the pixel selection, and now the tree is selected. We create our new brush. And we can now edit this brush. You can see when we adjust spacing, we have a tree. We'll call it tree. We now should be able to paint this tree onto our image that we are editing. Let's create a new pixel layer and name it tree. We'll go to the paintbrush tool. The tree layer has been selected. Make sure it's the right tree and not the negative one that we had before. We'll place this anywhere we want because we can now control this. Quite simply just placing that in the middle of the image. Just go to our selection pointer, and now by dragging the corners of our selection, we can make the tree any size that we want. We can also click and pull the tree into a new position. Because it's in a new pixel layer, we've got full control over this without affecting any other parts of the image. It now looks the right sort of size for the position that it holds in the image. If we right click and go to transform, we can actually flip it horizontal if we want. That is before, and that is after flipping. It's very much playing about until you're happy with the results. In a relatively short period of time, we have created 3 totally different brushes using different techniques, and we have transformed the boring image into something a lot more interesting. One final touch is to crop a bit of foreground away. If we use the history slider, we can go back to our starting point and we can slide back to our current result. I hope you'll agree that this is a totally different and much more interesting photo. I hope that you have found this video interesting and useful. Please subscribe to my channel and look out for new videos as they are released. Thank you and goodbye.